All right, good morning. This is the September 27, 2022 Cottage Grove Economic Development Authority meeting. It is a special meeting because we do have a couple tight time frame items that we have to, well, one particular, to deal with today. But we'll go through the normal process, so I'll look for a roll call.
EDA President Bailey.
Aye.
EDA Vice President Dennis.
Here.
EDA Member Carey.
Here.
EDA Member Crone.
Here.
EDA Member Thewis.
Here.
EDA Member Myers. EDA Member Scott.
All right, so we do have a quorum. The next on our agenda is approval of the minutes. The 3.1 is the approval of the August 22nd, 2022 EDA meeting minutes. If there are no changes or corrections, I will look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis.
Second.
EDA Member Crone. Is that who I heard? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, yes, I just want to make sure. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is business items. 4.1 is the second amendment to the purchase agreement for Thai Gardens. And Jamie, you're going to walk us through this one.
Thank you, EDA President Bailey. Just quick update for you today. We'll give you a little refresher. It's the 0.54 acres at 7470 East Point Douglas Road that we're reviewing. Thai Garden currently has the property under a purchase agreement with the EDA. The purchase price is just over $188,000. And you have approved the LOI, the purchase agreement, the first amendment to the purchase agreement. Now we're looking at doing a second amendment to the purchase agreement. They need a little bit more time. But the planning application was approved by the Planning Commission and the City Council, so they're ready to go on that front. But their lender reached out to us because they are applying for a small business administration loan. And with petroleum storage previously being on the site, they are required to do a phase one review of the property, which will add a little bit more time to their due diligence period. So the lender reached out asking if we could offer them an extension. So we are looking at offering them an additional 60 days to complete their phase one review of the property. With that, Thai Garden has agreed to deposit an additional $5,000 in earnest money into the escrow account with DCA title. So before you are a few recommendations, and I would be happy to stand for any questions.
All right, EDA members, any questions for Jamie on this particular item? None? EDA Vice President Dennis?
Well, Mayor, I don't have a question for Jamie, but I think that perhaps we need to have a conversation a little bit about the additional earnest money coming in. So it's $5,000, and I don't know if that's quite enough at this point.
Okay.
I know you and I had spoke this one time earlier on it, and you know, we want to see this project get done, obviously, but at this point, I believe that with the current business climate and number of companies wanting to come to Cottage Grove, we probably could have had something done. And so I think we might look a little higher number on that than 5,000.
Can I ask, I don't know if Jamie or Jennifer, if you have it, what was the first amount? Do you remember?
With the purchase agreement, they deposited $20,000. With the first amendment to the purchase agreement, they deposited another $10,000. So we currently have $30,000 on the property.
Okay, so another 5 would be 35,000.
On a just over $188,000 sale.
Okay.
And Mayor and members of the EDA, typically, when we have like a sale in our business park, you know, where you may be having an expenditure of a purchase over $1 million, you'd be at about a $35,000 escrow. So proportionately, from the $188,000 to now the $35,000, proportionately, it is quite significant compared to what you typically collect in earnest money over, you know, what we typically see in an industrial setting.
And I'm assuming if heaven forbid, but if something were to fall through, that earnest money is non-refundable?
That is correct. The money essentially is non-refundable and it goes hard at the time of the next 60 days. So at that point, the EDA retains the money.
Okay. I mean.
Well, I mean, it's up for discussion, and if you know, people feel that's reasonable, I certainly wouldn't stand in the way of it. But
Okay.
I know you and I had talked previous about it, and We were kind of thinking 10,000 was, matching the first one that we had, but certainly, I mean, I'd like to open it up for
Yeah.
discussion for the board here to do what they feel is correct. And again, should the project happen, they get all the money back. So it's not an issue on that. We want the project to happen, but we want the project to happen. That's the thing. And these things are getting, delayed out and, so that's my hope is just to make it be a little bit, more clear.
EDA members, any thoughts or comments, one way or the other? That's what we're looking for.
I guess one of the questions that I have is just, I know, you had explained the reasoning and why we're extending this out again. Is there any concern that there's going to be any additional delays? Because that's, hearing what we're saying is that's one of the things too, is that, we're extending it out again. And I'm just curious if there's anything that they might be aware of or if there's any reasons that they'd have to extend it out yet another time.
EDA Member Crone, as far as I know, this would be the final amendment to the purchase agreement. We were set to close this week, actually, with them before the Phase 1 review was required. So I don't foresee any other delays, but I didn't at this point either, so.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I guess my thoughts on it, like I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the business owner at this point, and it sounds like, I think they moved from St. Paul, they were looking to move to Cottage Grove, their residents here. Everybody's kind of excited about that. It sounds to me like it's no fault of theirs that this is taking longer, that it's, between the SBA and or the lender. I actually, when I built my building, I think we had to do an environmental study, and these are things as a new business owner or building owner, like I had no idea needed to be done. So you're relying on the expertise of, lenders and whoever guiding you through this process. So I would hate to punish them more. And to be honest, I was quite surprised that we already will have now $35,000 on a $188,000 purchase. So it's a lot of money to put down and that they're putting at risk essentially if this was to fall through in some capacity. So I think my personal opinion is they have enough skin in the game, I guess, at this point, but it is certainly frustrating that it is taking this long. So hopefully we can get it across the finish line with this last extension, so.
Okay. Did you want to say something, Mr. Theus?
I just kind of had questions about the SBA loan. Do you know if with rising interest rates, if that will be a problem to secure those loans, or like what is the process typically with SBA?
EDA Member Theus, I am not 100% sure on that process. I did ask Ty Garden to be here today. They were unable to make it, but I can double check with their lender on the process. Not being in the banking industry, I'm not 100% sure on that side.
Okay, thanks.
So I guess at this point, my take on it would be, okay, and 35,000 on 188 is probably a decent amount. I'm assuming also based on, it was interesting, we have kind of another end user, restaurant person that's looking at opening a business in Cottage Grove that has already spent like 80,000 on their building, and they're running into some issues on their end. And the reason I bring that up is they're not going to walk away either. The reason I bring that up is obviously Ty Garden had to put money into the design, the construct, all that. So there's probably more cost in the building and our earnest money that we've got than probably the property was going to cost. But however, at the same time, what I would say is let's just make sure that this is the last extension and that there isn't an interest for us to extend it again. And yes, I absolutely want them to be open, and another restaurant in Cottage Grove, local, family that is here. But one of the challenges, like Councilmember Dennis just mentioned, is sometimes these things take a long time. Now, in this particular case, to your point, it can be, when the SBA says you have to do this stuff, and then you were commenting about interest rates, Mr. Theus, that I know is having some issues even in our business park right now, where it's taking a little longer for them to get these deals done, so
One other
unfortunately.
comment, if I may. So the other thing that we're not factoring in here, again, putting myself in the shoes of the business owner, they have to pay for the environmental study. So that is not a cheap, I can't remember what it was. I mean, it was multi-thousands of dollars that they're now, having, because the previous someone else had stored petroleum on that site. They're now having to pay thousands of dollars to, and rightly so, ensure the there's no adverse environmental impact, but they're also having to pay that out of pocket, so.
Yep, okay. All right, so we have two separate motions that are up on the screen for us, if somebody wants to take the first one.
I can take the first one. Motion to approve the resolution 2022-011, authorizing the second amendment to the purchase agreement between the City of Cottage Grove and Hang LLC.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Thewis. Do I have a second by EDA member Vice President Dennis? Any further discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Who would like to take number two?
I'll motion to authorize the EDA President and City Administrator to execute the second amendment to the purchase agreement with Hang LLC for the sale of .54 acres for development purposes.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Carey. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA member Crone. Any further discussion? Seeing none on this one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jamie. And it would be great for you to kind of keep us updated when we also have the closing. Because I noticed on our agenda here, we won't have a meeting at this point in October.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Number 5 is public hearings are done this morning. 6 is other business. There is a calendar that each of you have. I will just mention that there is a business over breakfast event at River Oaks this coming Thursday. And it sounds like we have a really good turnout, like everybody in the business park or representatives are coming to that, so that's a good deal. And then any EDA comments? Yeah, EDA Vice President Dennis.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to mention MinCar will be coming up. I got a email about that, so that's our local version of the ICSC. So I'm assuming we'll all be there again.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep.
awesome.
Before I have a comment, any other comments for any EDA members? Just to share with the EDA members, this past week, myself and our Public Works / engineer / whatever else he is, Ryan Burfide, excuse me, had the opportunity to do what they call a fly-in into Washington DC, and the purpose of that was to meet with all of our legislative leaders, both in the House and the Senate, to work and you know, I guess put forward some road projects that we'd love some federal support on. And the two, just so you all know, the two projects that we were marketing, if you will, or getting support for, which we did. One is some funding to complete the reconstruction of 80th Street from Ideal all the way down to Highway 61. And there's with turn lanes and all that kind of fun stuff. That is the only stretch of 80th Street that's still remaining to be completed. We have done everything from Ideal all the way out to County Road 19 and beyond. And then the other one is the extension of 100th Street from Jamaica all the way to Highway 61, where the bridge is, which also would involve, excuse me, a railroad bridge, all that other fun stuff. So I just wanted to obviously thank Ryan for being out there with us. We were also there with the county. So we had two county board members, Stan Sirkowski and Wayne Johnson was there, along with Wayne Sandberg, who represents Washington County. There was multiple other cities and counties and such that were out there, but I did literally get the chance to tout our projects, not even just to our own legislative groups that cover the Cottage Grove market, but also the state of Minnesota. And my thought process on that was, at some point, they're all going to have to vote on it, so better that they all know about this great project or projects in Cottage Grove to gain their support. So nothing's guaranteed, as we know, in Washington, D.C., but the 80th Street project is in the appropriations bill that has passed the House. It's now in the Senate. And we did apply for a rural grant process, which looks real good for us. And we've got support, we had support from Senator Tina Smith to support that project. And then while we were out there, we were able to get Senator Klobuchar also to sign on to that for a letter of support. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there, and then I know our staff's doing a great job of also going after some additional funding sources, if you will, that we weren't even, well, some of them you guys are aware of, some of them we weren't aware of. When we went out there, they gave us a long list of, you might qualify for these different types of monies, and there's a lot of money out there for road projects. So our goal is to, wherever we can help tap some federal funds to take the onus off of our local taxpayers, per se, I think the more power to us, and that's really what we're looking at doing in these particular cases. But very good trip. First time we've done this. Highly recommend that we do this again, because similar to our situation of going out to the ICSC in Las Vegas every May, it's just getting people to know who you are. And then once you're out there, then they start recognizing that you're committed to making projects happen and things within the city of Cottage Grove, both on the road project side, but also on the commercial, residential, and industrial side out at ICSC. So thought I'd just share that with you. So thank you, staff, for helping put that together. And like I said, Ryan did a great job with us out there. Any other EDA comments? And I don't believe there was anything on previous EDA comments. We do not have a workshop. I will look for adjournment. Who wants to make the motion?
A motion to adjourn?
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Carey,
Second.
second by EDA member Thewis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed? We are adjourned.